Hello, good evening. Very glad to have you all on this introduction session of the CFO roundtables. If we go back to the initial idea, it was the purpose to reflect on a number of themes. We have 3 themes, and we will come back to them in the course of this session. With a limited number of CFOs, because we wanted to have an open discussion, a reflection, and with interesting conclusions. So it's not a webinar formula. It's really an interactive formula. And that's the reason why the initial idea was that we would really wanted to have live sessions. But we're living exceptional times, of course. And instead of having started these roundtables in the month of September or October, with December, and we changed our plan. Because in the meantime, we have collected some interesting material we can share with you. And if we look ahead, we also have the possibility to organize sessions like these in a digital way, virtual way, which is not our preferred option, but if we really cannot do otherwise, we will do it. But we will come back to that later on. So maybe a short presentation of ourselves. My name is Peter Baert. You probably already know me. I'm the business director of finance within Aussie. And I joined Aussie 1 year ago, exactly 1 year ago. And the idea was from the start that combined with the current activities of Aussie in finance, the digital transformation was one of the topics which is really on the plate of a number of all of our clients. Together with our own CFO, we thought it was a good idea to organize this, and we decided to do it with Unit 4, and I'm going to introduce Joris.
Thank you, Peter. So my name is Joris Gijzen. I'm happy to co-host the event together with Peter and with Aussie. Aussie is one of our customers. We are a software vendor delivering ERP solutions and business applications for service-centric organizations. My role within Unit 4 is a sales role. I focus on the commercial side or the commercial territory within our verticals. I have another colleague joining in the call as well. He will not present anything today, but he will take a part in the discussions we will likely have in the roundtable sessions. So maybe if we can already move over to the purpose of today's call, I would like to introduce to you, not sure whether we can show the slide. What the purpose of today's call. Actually, we would like to share some practical information with you, first of all, with regards to the planned sessions. So we will share the dates that we have picked out. We cannot yet guarantee whether these roundtables will take place physically, but we will come back later to that later on that, and then as soon as we have the information about the current COVID measures. I think fairly important to mention as well is that we have foreseen some polls during this session, and during these polls and in between these polls, we have foreseen also some time for you to present yourself to the community, to the panel we are trying to create here with the CFOs around the table. Maybe also some words about how we try to stay connected to you. You regularly get some updates from us via the website, via email. We're also playing with the idea of creating a LinkedIn community. However, we would like your input as well, whether you're open to join a LinkedIn community, but we will send an email afterwards to poll to for your feedback afterwards. So if I go to the first,
Maybe one thing, Joris, we are doing this in English, but when you're presenting yourself, or even, and more important, during the discussions we will have in the next sessions, if you feel more comfortable to raise your points in your own language, please do. We are presenting this or doing this in English because we have a mixed audience of Dutch-speaking and French-speaking people, but we wanted to have it as naturally as possible, and so don't be afraid to use your own language if that's what you are more comfortable with. Then I would like to introduce Niels de Boisere, and that's our editor. So we have taken financial media under in this initiative with the purpose of publishing a white paper. And also we will have some interviews with thought leaders in CFO magazine on the topics, but that's something for, let's say, April or May 2021. Before introducing Niels to you, it's important to stress that whatever is being said in this group stays in this group, and no information, and that's a promise, no information of whatever kind on what you have said, your opinions, or what is typical for your company. If so, specific information with respect to your company will not be published unless you would agree, and if that would be for some reason useful to share. So it's really to have the focus on the finance topics as a whole. So maybe Niels, if you can unmute yourself and give a little presentation of yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Peter, for the short introduction already. As it's been said by Peter, I'm the editor of the white paper. Working Words is a finance and business economics editorial office in the spirit of financial media. So I don't really have to say anything more. The meaning of this is exactly a white paper and the interviews and articles that will follow in CFO magazine. So I will be here anonymous. So with this, I'm going to give back the voice to Peter.
Okay. Yeah. Next one.
I think we can already move on to the next, or to the first theme that we've picked out to discuss with you during the first roundtable, and probably, or we expect at least that it might be a virtual session once again. However, we've picked a new date, and the proposed date for that is Thursday, the 23rd of February. And we invited some top leaders as well. That's actually something that we thought was very interested. We have selected two top leaders who can give their insights on this topic. The first one is Luc Misorte. Luc Misorte is currently the chairman of the board of directors at Context. However, Luc has some major experiences during different executive roles, and he's willing to share some of his experiences during the roundtable session. Next to that, we also prepared some interviews, and this one is with Matthias Gijsens. Matthias Gijsens is investment director at Waterland Private Equity, and he also has a particular view on the CFO from an investment point of view. He would like to share with us, and we will share the interview which has already taken place with Matthias. We will share that upfront with you to prepare in the best possible way to have the discussion during the roundtable. Maybe one small practical remark I forgot to mention. If you would have any questions during this session, you can put them in the chat box. We'll come back later on these questions and try to answer them at the end of the meeting. Maybe we can already start with going to the poll right now. However, I would like to give some remarks before going to the poll. The first remark is that some questions stipulate a timeline of 2025. However, it's kind of a figure of speech, and it represents actually the foreseeable future. So it's not really 2025. However, it's just a figure of speech for the future. And next to that, we would like you to answer these questions, not only looking at your own company or your own role, but maybe as a more holistic view on the finance role itself. If we can go to the next slide, then I can share with you how we can interact with you and how we can do the poll. I would like you to take your mobile phone and open the browser on your mobile phone. And you see that we are sharing an URL right here. So it's pollev.com/Vanessa Wouten 783. And if you go to that website, and we're currently also switching to the site, then you can log in. And then we can go to the actual questions together with you. So you can answer these questions using your smartphone. So feel free to already log in. We'll give you some more time. I'm not sure whether we have a view on people already entering. Yeah. Okay, and we are already broadcasting the first question. So what was your previous role? I see we already have 2 results. So let's keep them coming. Were you a CFO in another organization? Were you part of the controlling or accounting team, maybe as head of the team? Are you coming from a data background? Were you a business leader? Were you a corporate finance specialist? Or are you coming from another role? I see we already have 7 results. 8, maybe we can already share some results. Okay, that's interesting. So most of the people in the call already were CFO in another organization. We also have some people joining from the controlling. And we have a data specialist as well. Interesting. Okay, maybe we can go to the next question. Actually, a similar question: who would you recommend to become the next CFO in 2025 or in the foreseeable future? I see we're getting some results. 5 people already answered. 9 people, maybe we can already start sharing some results. That's also interesting to see. We have someone who's convinced that it should be a data specialist. However, we also see that actually there is a clear division between in-house recruiting, I guess, and out-house recruiting. So looking for a CFO coming from another organization. Maybe that's interesting, or an interesting input for debate in the roundtable session. Let's go to the next one. Which role would be your next role, if there would be any? Would you become, again, a CFO of another organization? Maybe group CFO of your current organization? Are you taking the step to the CEO's spot? Maybe going to the IT, to lead the IT department? Maybe you can share your experience being a consultant, and there might be some other options as well. See that we already have 8 responses. Let's try to share them if we can. Interesting. So some people see their future outside of their organization, others see it within their organization, being a group CFO or a CEO. We might have some consultants as well. That's interesting to see. Let's go to the next question. That's a fairly clear one, I guess. Okay, I think the majority already answered the question. No, so there's a clear, or the majority thinks that there's a clear line between being a chief data officer and being a CFO. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's discuss during the roundtable session. I'm not sure whether we still have one more question to go. Okay, and this is a ranking question, I think. You will be able to slide with the answers or use the arrows on your application or the smartphone to give a top 3 or to rank top 3. And we're looking to find out what your top specialties are, being a CFO.
This is going to take a little bit more time.
This is a little bit more complex, I guess. To
use the arrows to move up your choice to the top.
Yeah. Maybe some people playing Tetris on their smartphone. Now the results are coming in. Five results. Maybe we can already share some results.
Maybe
6 results. Wait a little bit more.
Yeah, because it's a complex operation. You have to
okay. I'm too impatient. I'm sorry.
And maybe in the meantime, you can tell that we will take back these questions during the different teams, and it would also be interesting to see if we're looking to the future, and after discussions, if we see some shifts in these responses. If, for instance, on a previous question, is the CFO also going to be the chief data officer? It was 70-30. Is this going to remain fixed, or is this going to move? That's also the purpose of. So this is our baseline, and we will match it against future results. But this is giving you also a flavor of what are the topics we will handle. Maybe with the exception of what's your next role going to be. Okay, we're already at 9. Maybe, yeah. So strategy, business partnering.
People management, second spot.
Okay. So the top 3 is not really surprising, but data management is nowhere in these results.
In these results. Let's see how that evolves in the coming weeks and months.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for the responses. We have foreseen some. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
still one.
Okay, we had 7 questions. I think 6. Okay. So, which of the above single one is going to become much more important than today for the CFO in 2025? Again, a ranking question?
No, this is one single.
Is it one a single? A single one, yeah.
Okay. strategy, data management companies. Okay, interesting. Good. I know, that's a special one. Less than 50%, between 50, 75. So this is clear the one we're not going to make company specific, but it's just a way of measuring how important the role of the CFO is considered in the organization, if you can match it with the salary level. Okay. So that was the last one.
Okay. We have some time now to start already or give already some availability to some people to present themselves. And actually, I would like to ask Gerbrand maybe to take the lead. Gerbrand, can you unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and also briefly explain in 2 or 3 sentences what Aussie does?
Yeah, okay. And I have 2 minutes if I'm well informed. Yeah, okay. So my name is Gerbrand van Zeebroek. I'm currently the CFO of Aussie. So I'm a colleague of Peter. Aussie is part of the Randstad ecosystem. We are specialized in project sourcing and delivery of complex projects in the area of finance, HR, life sciences, IT, and engineering. We are based in Leuven, or our headquarters is based in Leuven. We are using Unit 4 as ERP, so that's why we know we were in contact with Joris. When asked about the size of the current finance team, I took the total, including AR, AP, and I came to a total of 15 for both Belgium and Luxembourg. My past, maybe, I think I still have a few seconds left. As many, I think, in this room, I have a history within Deloitte. I stayed for around almost 5 years with Deloitte. Then I joined LMS, which was a company, or which is still a company active in test and simulation software, which was bought by Siemens in 2013. And in between LMS and my current position at Aussie, I took the challenge during 3 years to start my own business in something completely different, being elderly care and real estate. Learned a lot, but missed the in-depth finance challenges, and that's why I joined Aussie now 4 years ago. So, Peter, Joris, not sure whether I respected the time.
Yeah,
I think you did, so thank you.
Okay.
You really led by example. Dieter, can you please take the stage and introduce yourself? Maybe also a brief explanation why there is an extra text box on the slide here. Actually, all of you were interviewed before these sessions, and we asked the question, what did you always wanted but didn't dare to ask? And not everyone answered these questions. For those who answered the question, we stated the answer on the slide as well. So Dieter, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello. Good evening. So my name is Dieter van Hekke. I'm currently the CFO of Siemens Industry Software. We are also located in Leuven, around the corner with Aussie. So a little bit about my history and past. So I started as a financial analyst or business analyst at EDS for 3 years. Then I worked for Ricoh, the printer manufacturer, as a financial analyst for about 4 years. And then afterwards, I joined LMS. So I have some history with Gerbrand. Joined LMS, and then, as Gerbrand mentioned, we were acquired by Siemens in 2013. During my Siemens financial history, to call it like that. I spent quite some time in global controlling, and then I also spent almost 3 years in US for a specific merger and acquisition project within Siemens, and moved back to Belgium and then became a CFO of our legal entity in Belgium. So we offer some solutions to our customers to digitalize and automate their production process within the PLM area. Currently, we are using SAP as our ERP system. The finance team within Leuven is about 6 people. And then about the third text box or bubble. So my question was indeed like, how do we translate the often fancy terminology in some tangible use cases? So I think within digitalization, people like to use fancy words and talk about blockchain and whatever. And it often sounds nice, but I'm really interested to see tangible use cases. How can we use it in our day-to-day business? How can we make our work efficient? And that's one of the items I hope to get some insights from the network over here as well.
Okay, let's try to work towards those insights. Nele, can you please introduce yourself as well?
Yes, good evening. So my name is Nele. I'm the CFO of Agristo. It's a production company who makes frozen potato products. So we export all over the world. I don't know if you know the company or not. We have about 1,000 employees in 4 plants. All plants are located in Belgium and 1 in the Netherlands. So I am a group CFO. All financial services are centralized in Belgium, in Harelbeke. I also have a history at Deloitte. So I started in audit. I worked there for 6 years, and I am almost 10 years now at Agristo. I started as controller at Agristo, then I became controlling manager, and now I'm almost 3 years CFO of Agristo. We have really grown a lot in the past year, so there's a big difference between Agristo 10 years ago when I started over there compared to Agristo nowadays. I don't know. I think my team is about 15 people. That's including controlling, accounting, and reception. So it's a full administration and finance team. And we use SAP as ERP system. We are currently in the phase of implementing S/4HANA, which will go live at the end of this month.
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much, Nele.
You're welcome.
Bart, can you please introduce yourself as well?
Yes, I feel more comfortable to go on in my own language because it's already late, huh? So it's Dutch. So ik ben Bart Geens, ik ben de CFO van de Harel Groep. Wat doen wij? Wij eigenlijk ontwerpen, distribueren en produceren zonwering, rolluiken en poorten. We zijn ongeveer met een 300-tal mensen. Onze headquarters zijn in Diest, hè, dus ja, in Diest en ook ver van Leuven. Ik heb niet zo'n groot team, hè, dus zo 6 mensen, maar dat wil zeggen dat bij ons heel veel geautomatiseerd is, vandaar. Goed, wij gebruiken Microsoft Dynamics als ERP-systeem. Ik heb ook een background bij Deloitte. Ik heb 7 jaar voor Deloitte gewerkt in audit. Daarna ben ik financieel directeur geweest bij Arte, een van mijn belangrijkste klanten bij Deloitte. Na Arte ben ik overgegaan naar SAPA. SAPA is eigenlijk een beursgenoteerde groep uit Noorwegen. Ik was CFO voor Central Western Europe. En sinds 7 jaar ben ik CFO of groep CFO voor Harel.
Okay, thank you very much, Bart. And then for this round, last but not least, Isabel, can you please also unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Good evening. I'm Isabel van Isegem. I'm since 1.5 years CFO of Randstad Group. So I'm working very closely together on a couple of topics with Gekbrand, as we are part of the same Randstad family. My history is quite diverse. I started, as many of you, in audit at KPMG, so not a Deloitte history. Afterwards, I moved for many years in the IT sector, Lotus, IBM, 10 years Microsoft, where I've done different roles. So I've not a particular finance background, but I have been in sales and strategy, in comp and ben, sales excellence. So a variety of different subjects. And that's also a bit a characteristic that I look with a kind of atypical glasses to the finance function. When I left Microsoft, I have taken up the role of CFO at Nico, the light switches and sockets, and afterwards CFO at Mediagenics, which is again a software company making software for specifically broadcasting sector. And so now I ended at Randstad. The finance team is approximately 20 people, but I am also responsible for business administration and legal, which makes in total approximately 250 people. And in terms of ERP, Randstad is working with GD Edwards.
Okay, thank you very much, Isabel. I think we got a clear view on already a first part of the participants. Maybe Peter, you can already share some insights on the second team that we've selected.
Yeah, okay. And the second team is tools and processes. And I think that's going to interest a lot of people if we go back to the interviews we already had. We proposed the date of 25th of March, 2021. As thought leaders, first of all, we have Christoph Stauthausen, who will be joining and who is the Vlerik Professor of Management Accounting, but also the director of the Vlerik Center of Financial Excellence and Digital Transformation. It's a long title, so I have some problems, but he's a real expert on artificial intelligence, and he's very passionate about that subject. We will also invite Wim Wouters, who is coming from Aussie and who is the senior solution architect at Aussie. So he is really involved in topics like RPA and also artificial intelligence. Before the session of 25th of March, we will send you the links to some clips of interviews we had with a number of people. So again, Wim Wouters, who will explain what is artificial intelligence really about, and also RPA, because, well, there are often some misconceptions about, in particular, artificial intelligence. And so that's going to give a good introduction to all of you who are interested before the session, so that we can really have an in-depth discussion on the topic and not having to explain what these concepts really mean. I also had an interview with Klaus Jepsen, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Unit 4. And it was also a very interesting interview. Of course, he will talk about ERP, but he is really not dogmatic about a vision of ERP. He has a very open view on ERP systems, but connected with microservices. And he's really convinced that all these things, all these solutions have to interact with each other. So that's an interesting one. I think this is going to be a very interesting evening. We're considering if we should not have the possibility for you to have, before the discussion session, also a question and answers evening for those who want, with these people like Wim Wouters on artificial intelligence. We also have an interesting clip of Randstad Netherlands, who use statistical models also already today for making forecasting projections. Well, that's also a very interesting one. So we have collected a lot of material on different subjects, and we will share them with you. So we're sure we're going to have an interesting evening. So maybe the next one. As for the first topic, again, we have some questions. And again, please take back your cell phone. At the top of the page, those who weren't connected, you see where you can where you should make the link, paulev.com van Esterwoud 783. So the first question is already on the screen. In 2025 or something like 2025, financial data will be available in real time. So yeah, to be clear, already some financial data are real time available. But here we're talking about P&L data per analytical unit, per business unit, for instance, balance sheet items that would make it possible for you to forecast or working capital items, or so yeah, pretty high consensus that it will be available to a larger extent than today, of course. Yeah. Okay. Next question. In 2025, the yearly budget will be replaced, so completely replaced by frequent scenario planning, including a more dynamic target setting process. Okay. Also there. Yeah.
There seems to be some confidence in the technology.
Yeah. Okay. At the same time, it means that a lot of people are questioning the use and the utility of the budget process, but that would be an interesting discussion as well. So next question. In 2025, finance will mainly deliver coherent data, the famous single truth, but the different units, business units or cost centers of the company will make their own analysis and they will do their reporting to the management. So finance will deliver the data and deliver coherent data, but the businesses will make their own analysis. A self-service model. Okay. Pretty much convinced, although there are some people saying, no. So again, some substance for discussions. Yeah. Next one. So I need to invest time and money in RPA for my finance processes already today. So here we're not talking about 2025. Today, RPA is on the table and you need to invest time and money. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the interesting question, of course, is then, are you doing it? But that's for the discussion. Yeah. ERP systems will gradually be replaced by robotics, microservices. So the famous sentence, ERP is dead, or maybe ERP is alive. Okay, there are mixed feelings. That's the least we can say here. So this is going to be interesting to have a discussion. What is the main criteria to invest time and money in financial tooling systems today and in the next year? And then we're talking about ERP, BI, CPM, RPA, artificial intelligence. So okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
That's interesting. I think
Yeah.
this one was the last question
That was the last
again.
one?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're going to a next series of Who is Who. And maybe Michel, if you could present yourself, CFO of
So I'm Michel Adams. I am CFO at Van Marke. I have 30 years of experience in finance, of which 22 at Van Marke. So I think that's the most relevant. I started as a controller in Van Marke, built up the whole controlling department, went away for a couple of years, but then came back as the CFO of the group. So Van Marke is well known for the seahorse as in its brand, which is the wholesale of sanitary and heating and installation material. But we also have a comparable but much smaller business in the United States, which is also a wholesale activity in comparable business, technical wholesale. And then we took over an e-commerce company in sanitary ware, or sanitary winkel in Holland, and we have we have a bank in the group and some two small industrial companies. We are, for the main part of the business, we are on SAP. And as for Nele, on the 1st of Jan, we'll go live with the S4HANA. So we'll be thinking about each other. And we have a quite large team because it's as well the holding company as the trading group, the market group has a shared services in Kortrijk, where we do the accounting for 30 companies.
Okay.
That's me. My name is Bert Poelmans. I'm not a CFO. I'm a director in group controlling and business intelligence in the Radisson Hotel Group. I started my career in Deloitte in audit. Some might remember me in the past. I worked there for 6 years, after which I joined Radisson Hotel Group, which was one of my customers. I joined Radisson in group controlling and as a pure group controller. And throughout the years, I evolved more into the business intelligence role. And I must say that only very recently I moved out of finance and I moved into what we call now the data office. So we have a separate team who takes care of all data related matters. The finance team as such is about 15 people at corporate level. We have headquarters in Brussels. For EMEA, we have about 300 hotels in EMEA that we take care of. ERP package is predominantly SAP. We're rolling out S4HANA to all our owned entities, owned hotels and admin offices. All other hotels which are not owned by us run on various ERP tools. The list is too long to name all of these.
Okay. we thought it was interesting to have Bert also in the panel, to have a real data expert in the group, and to have a slightly different view on the team. So maybe different, or maybe the same.
We'll see.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Jacob. I just kind of, I worked almost 6 years for Showpad. I just stopped only a few weeks ago, and I'm now just in between jobs before I move to next gig in a few weeks. So Showpad is a sales enablement system, growing fast. I started as a VP finance, in fact, acting as a CFO because we did not have a CFO. So the company has grown over the 6 years, and revenue increased multiple by 12 over almost 6 years. So it has really been a roller coaster. So the finance team is 14. This includes also some operations people. So these are not purely only finance members, but also partially some operation members. We currently run our ERP on NetSuite. So NetSuite is acquired by Oracle, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Prior to Showpad, I did 2 years on financial consulting and implementing ERP systems. And then I worked prior to that 9 years for a speech technology company, where I worked in several countries in Europe.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Then Rick, CFO of VIB.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Rick Oudenaard, the CFO of VIB. VIB is a research institute in...
I think we have to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Rick Oudenaard, CFO of VIB, a life science research institute, 1,700 researchers doing research in all different fields of life sciences, cancer research, Alzheimer research. Also, we're trying to do our best to solve the corona pandemic to some extent in the testing, in assisting the hospitals and finding a medicine. My team, my finance team consists of 13 people, and we use the ERP system of Unit 4. As for myself, started my career with PricewaterhouseCoopers, and moved afterwards from auditing to internal auditing, and now I'm and then to finance as a function within VIB.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. On team 3.
On team 3. Having talked already about the CFO himself, about the tooling of the CFO, we were definitely sure that we had to talk about the organization and the team of the CFO. So that's actually the third team that we would like to discuss in the latest of those roundtable sessions. That will be about finance, organization, and people. It will take place on Thursday, the 22nd of April, 2021, and let's hope that we can do it in a physical way. We also selected a thought leader to share his thoughts on finance organization. And for that session, it will be Hans Kolf who will join us. And Hans is actually a member of the CFO board in the Netherlands, or a member of the board of the CFO community, actually. Of the Dutch community in the Netherlands. So he will share some experiences with us, and hopefully also start a good debate on the session itself. Also for this team, we have prepared some questions. So I would like you to take your smartphone again for the last time for a series of questions with regards of this team. And the first one is actually about the number of data specialists and process analysts that will evolve and grow within the finance departments. Will those increase exponentially or won't they? That's quite an interesting thought. So will it be likely to increase exponentially or not, the number of data specialists or process analysts? Bearing in mind that RPA and those kind of tooling will probably do some things as well. And there's some confidence that those type of profiles will grow in the finance teams better. Yeah. So that's interesting to see. Let's discuss on the 22nd of April. Will the finance function or the finance population become outdated, and will converting them to another role, evolving the roles, be extremely complicated, or won't that be? So how relevant will the current finance population remain? And will it be fairly easy or fairly complicated to convert them in other roles? That's the question.
Okay, very mixed.
That's indeed a mixed response. That's good for debate if we don't agree. So those are the responses we would like to see. A question about recruitment. If I recruit people today, I only take into account how my department will look like in 2025.
Maybe the important word is there only. I only take into account.
So only looking at the future or the near future. Okay.
Okay, good.
Question about the size of the finance team in the near future. Will it increase? Will it decrease? Will it remain the same? Let's see.
Okay.
Majority thinks it will decrease. However, some
people thinking that might increase.
Yeah.
So of course, the hypothesis here, and I hope that was clear, that the increase would not be due to an increase of an expansion of your company, but to needs of the finance department. Yeah. Okay.
And then we have one more question about the need of data specialists and how they will be trained. Will the need be that high in 2025?
If we say, I will have to train, well, it's not personally you, no. It's your department. You will have to find a solution. That's the question.
That's interesting.
Okay, that's very divergent questions.
Yeah.
Answers, I mean.
That's good feed for debate. So then I think this might be the last question.
That's the last one.
Yeah. So from now to 2025, I will have to hire external intellectual services to fill in my needs, and that for the purpose of AI or robotics or data scientists and so on. Okay. And there are the majority things that it will be shifting.
Okay.
Interesting.
It will also be interesting to hear the opinion of Christoph Stouthausen, because he's very explicit on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So more time for some introductions. Maybe Virginie, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Virginie Carthage. So I'm the the freshly promoted CFO of Novadip Biosciences since 2 weeks. No, so Novadip is a biotech based in Louvain-la-Neuve. We are active since 5 years, and we do research mainly in the field of bone defect and bone reconstruction, but also in oncology. The company was created 5 years ago, and now we are 45 people. The size of the finance team is 3, limited, of course, due to the size of the company. The ERP is Winbooks, and my question was, is it better to outsource or in-source finance function? Because I do believe that we all have different conception of what would be the future finance function, and then I would be really interested to understand what the point of view of other people on that. And concerning my experience, I started my career in Deloitte as Gerbrand, and then I jumped to the pharma with different function within AstraZeneca, and then AbbVie before joining Novadip, as I mentioned 5 years ago.
Okay, thank you very much, Ferry, and congratulations on the new role.
Thank you.
Lots of success. Maybe Dries can also introduce himself. Not sure whether Dries is on the call.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Dries is here.
No, okay. Then
Yeah, okay.
Let's keep that for the next time. And then Jean-Pierre, we have
Yes, so my name is Jean-Pierre Butacide. I have started my work experience a long time ago in the 90s, as a lot of people with 3 years with KPMG, an audit company. Then I've worked for 10 years for an engineering group, the Hammond Group, which is active in the cooling systems and cooling towers. So these are the large towers close to the power stations, for example, where I have all kind of financial functions, where I was the financial controller of the group responsible for the consolidation, then the finance responsible for some divisions. I worked then 3 years for the group CHR, which is a group in producing concrete material, which is a quite large group, not known at all because it's an Irish group, and was responsible for the reorganization of a subgroup in Europe, Western Europe. And then from 2005, I'm a financial manager of SPIE Belgium. SPIE is a multi-technical company. We are active in electricity and piping, air conditioning, and also IT. Our clients are from industry, from civil contractors, and public client like the Brussels Underground or the railway companies. We are working with Unit 4 for more than 10 years now, and the finance team is about 30 people. It's including accounting, controlling, and legal department.
Okay, thank you very much. We also had some excuse today, Peter.
Yeah.
But maybe it's good to share with the panel who else is joining in these conversations.
These people excused themselves indeed, but they expressed the desire to continue with the initiative. So first one is Maya Yamaguchi, who's finance director of Médecins Sans Frontières, Artsen Zonder Grenzen, which is really a quite different point of view she's bringing in there. So that's interesting to have on board. Next one is Christian de Keizer, also a very interesting person to have in the group because he's director of operations of Argoria. and that includes also the finance function. But he has this operational role. But Agoria is the association that groups the interests of different IT companies and so on. So apart from his operational role, he also has a strategic view on the issues of. So that makes him interesting. Unfortunately, he had a little accident, which makes that he's out of service until the end of the year, but he will be joining us in the course of next year, he promised. So, okay, next one, Wim van Baal. I don't know if you remember him. That was a person who thought about, who talked about RPA introduction within renewing. He did that on the kickoff session in June. And he was certainly appreciated. His contribution was appreciated by a lot of people because he has a critical but very interesting point of view of what consulting services do and how what role the company should take up itself. So he's not here this evening, but he certainly is interested to participate, especially in the second session about tools and processes, where he will surely be able to deliver interesting points of view. Do we still have one another, or that was the last one?
That's the last
okay, so maybe if you have some questions, well, the purpose of this evening was not to have a very interactive session. That will be the case for the roundtables, which will effectively take place in February, March, and April. But if you have some last questions, you can put them in the chat of this webinar, this Zoom session. Otherwise, what I still want to say, we'll send you some feedback on this session, and we'll ask you your feedback. We'll also give you, once again, the link to the website we have created for this roundtable, which is a forum where we will share information, especially approaching one of these interactive sessions, because the next one will be interactive. And we will share interesting content via this website. It can be articles, it can be clips like we said, and so on. So from time to time, we will come back with mails and so on to direct you to this website if we think there is interesting content you can view. And as Joris already said, we're playing with the idea that we might create a temporary LinkedIn community to share ideas, questions, and so on. So there is one.
There is a question with regards to the dates. Normally, they should be visible on screen. If not, I think we also updated the website, so all the practical information with regards to the sessions will always be on the website, and we'll also resend an email confirming the dates. If you would miss them today, it's probably not the last time that we will share them. And as Peter already said, the website is constantly updated with more information, but also with the practical information for those sessions. I see that Isabel gives a good suggestion, maybe to already send out some invitations, so the agendas are blocked.
Yeah.
That's a good suggestion. We will definitely take that with us and send those out. I think, Peter, if there are no more questions, I think you did a quite good job with explaining everything.
Okay,
it's quite clear. Thank you very much. So we're actually looking forward to meet soon.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll come back to you from time to time.
Yeah.
As I said, it was not that interactive this time. We really hope that by February or March or April, we will be able to have a real physical roundtable, always taking care of the precautions. We're very much aware of the risks of this damned coronavirus. So if we do something, we will do it in full security for yourself or ourselves. You can be sure of that. But for the time being and until when, we don't know, it was not possible. So if there are no more questions or remarks, thank you for participating. I think it was useful to have this round table of presentations of all the participants. So that's something we can skip at our first real round table. So thank you for now, and see you later.
Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening, and see you soon. Bye.